All right, so this is Total Football. We are live until 5 here on Sky Sports News. We start with the news that broke around half an hour ago. Everton withdrawing their appeal against the decision to impose a 2-point deduction for breaching the Premier League's profitability and sustainability rules. Everton, who have officially now avoided relegation, will end the season with a total of 8 points deducted. A hearing scheduled for later this month will now not go ahead. OK, so let's speak to our chief reporter, Kaveh Solokol, who joins us on the line. Kaveh, good afternoon. Why, then, have Everton withdrawn this appeal?
Well, the simple answer is because they are not in danger of being relegated anymore. You have to remember that they appealed a month ago. Now, since then, they've won 3 games. They've drawn another game. They're unbeaten. They have got an extra 10 points, and they have lifted themselves away from the relegation zone. There's only 2 games of the season left. They're 9 points clear of the relegation zone. And also, looking at the league table, they're in 15th place now. In 14th place, Crystal Palace, who are 6 points ahead of them. So every single place in the Premier League table is worth millions of pounds in prize money at the end of the season. But there's a 6-point gap to Crystal Palace above them. So even if they won this appeal and they got these 2 points back, it wouldn't lift them up above Crystal Palace. And I also think there are more important things to worry about at Everton at the moment. We all know what is going on with the proposed takeover of the club that has been dragging on for so long now. And I think the sense is this is now an unwanted distraction. It's been going on for a long time, this whole PSR saga hanging over Everton and lots of other clubs. But on the football pitch, Everton have made sure that they are safe. So there's no point dragging this out any longer, especially because Nottingham Forest earlier this week discovered that they'd been unsuccessful in their appeal against a 4-point deduction. And I think the Commission, in their findings, made it pretty clear that there is no point appealing against these points deductions unless you have very good grounds. And also remember, these clubs have admitted they've broken the rules. Nottingham Forest admitted they've broken the rules. Everton had admitted they've broken the rules. They were just arguing about whether the Commission should take into account various mitigating factors to reduce the punishment. But I think as far as Everton are concerned now, look, they're safe. Forget about PSR for the time being. Focus on the future ownership and what is going to happen to the club. But of course, these PSR problems are not going to go away totally for Everton or any other clubs because we're approaching the end of the current 3-year PSR period that runs out on the 30th of June. So all Premier League clubs have got to make sure that they're compliant over this 3-year period as well, and they'll submit their accounts at the end of this year.
Kaveh, just a little bit more kind of contextually, do you think we've seen the last of talk around points deductions, PSR punishments, at least for this season? I mean, what happens beyond that, I suppose, is still up in the air. But have we just seen the last of this kind of discussion for the moment?
I think we can sort of maybe park the PSR discussion for a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks. But it is not going away in the short term. We're still going to have PSR next season. I think what is really important from everyone's point of view is that it is settled in the short term. The league table is now the league table. Everybody knows what they have to do. There are no more appeals. There's no chance of anyone having more points taken away or getting points back. The league table is the league table. And what people were concerned about was that we were going to go into the final match day of the Premier League season with these appeals not finished, so people not knowing where they stand. That has been averted. Hats off to the Premier League and the independent commission for saying what they were, independent commissions for doing what they said they were going to do, which was to make sure that these cases were going to be dealt with before the end of the season. And that has happened. But in answer to your question, no, this is not the end, because clubs will have to make sure that they have not lost more than £105 million by the end of 30th of June, going back over the past 3 seasons. So once the season is over and before the 30th of June, once the transfer window opens, I think we may see some clubs having to sell players to make sure that they are PSR compliant.
We'll leave it there. Kaveh Solokol, our chief reporter, thank you very much indeed.